Good evening, everybody. I'm Wayne Campbell, and this is the driver's side. Real drivers, real talk. This is another episode for the better of the industry. So please like and share into your groups. We got some guests tonight. We got the regular panel, Brandon and John. Unfortunately, Phillip is not going to be able to make it. I don't know where Showtime is. He'll most likely show up in the middle of the broadcast. So I'm hoping Rob does. But we're going to talk about the divide within your industry tonight. And remember, guys, that we are sponsored by Trucker Tools. So please download that app, tap that app, and let us know how that app is working for you. And before we get into tonight's show, I just want to say, of course, thank you to each and every one of you for being here. I'm going to go to the comments first. We're going to say hello to a few people, and then we're going to bring the men in, and we're going to get to talking trucking and the divide within. Because I know John likes to call them steering wheel holders. All right, I know what it's like to have that big mega name on your door. Been there, done that. All right. So, but as we get into tonight's show, I just wanted to get to tell you guys thank you so much, and the things that are happening in my life are amazing. I'm getting ready to leave here tomorrow morning. I fly out to Ohio. I'm heading to Ashland, Ohio. I'm heading to Hollerback Trucking. Brandon will be here tonight. He's the young gun. I call him the young gun because he's basically the future of trucking, and he's decided to he's actually he hasn't decided. He wants to help the industry and he wants to give back to the industry. And he said, Wayne, let's team up. And between him, John Herdrich, Rob Hallahan, Gary Jones, everybody, Gary Phelps, this is growing at a rapid pace. And now I'm going to go to you guys right here because it's because of you guys that we're growing at a rapid pace. So we're going to start off with Lefty. Good evening, Charles Bundy. How are you? How are you, brother? How's that working out for you? Is that thing fitting okay? If everybody didn't see the episode the other day with Charles, we did a special episode. He was getting fitted for his prosthetic. So it's going to make his life easier out on that road. And there's things that are making things easier for drivers and amputees, all that stuff. I mean, it's amazing the things that are available to you if you know it's available to you. Christopher, what's up? TJ Stewart, Daning Quails, Sean Mitchell, Independent Truckers Broadcasting. Check them out. Roger Reed, how are you, sir? Lee Adams, good to see you, bro. Matt Hibbs. Speaking of Matt Hibbs, I think he's moving back to Ohio. I pay attention. I can't believe how fast this is growing and how much support you guys are showing. It makes me want to be better at what I do. And it pushes me harder every day because this industry has yet to have an actual platform that's driver driven. And you guys are actually doing that by supporting me. And that in itself is absolutely amazing. I can't get over the people that I'm meeting. People like, he's going to come in here. So whoever that is with him, I don't know who that is. But people like Brandon Carpenter. And people like, I don't know who that is, but we're going to meet that person, whoever that is. Here we go. And John Herdrich. Hello, gentlemen. How are you? Who is that person, Brandon?
Good evening. That's Waylon's mom.
Is that Waylon's mom? Okay. Yeah. So what? Come over here, lady.
You don't want to be on camera
Come
now?
on. Nope. Now, look. Don't be photobombing and then not introduce yourself. Scoot over. Come on.
Hi, Wayne. I'm Courtney.
Hi, Courtney. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I can't wait to meet your son.
I know you're going to meet him tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be meeting him tomorrow. I can't wait to meet him. So, what do you have to say about that guy next to you? Is he a good dude?
Oh, here we go.
Never mind. This is not a marriage counseling show.
Brandon's a good guy. Yes.
Tell me how that makes you feel.
You know what? Look at the old man over on the casting couch. John, you be quiet. Hold on. Let me take John out real quick because he'll butt in.
Yeah, and the other problem is John's actually sitting on the counselor couch right now too. So
John's actually nice meeting you too, Courtney. Oh, I can't wait to get there, Brandon. I have a lot of anxiety right now. My chest is tight. It's hard for me to breathe, and it's not just because of that mask they forced me to wear when I went to pick up microphones tonight. What's going on? Yeah, it's because I'm moving, and I'm saying goodbye to Las Vegas, and I'm getting ready to say hello to Ashland. Thank you for opening up your doors. It's important that we build relationships in this industry, and it's important that I continue to work with people, let alone you, but the El Grumpo over there on the other far end. That's John Herdrich, and everybody please say a happy birthday to John. I'm not done yet. I have the microphone. Before we get started tonight, I want everybody to take their time out and say thank you to our happy birthday to John. Okay, John just turned another year old today or yesterday, and it just made him that much more grumpier. All right, so please say happy birthday to him so he's at least nice for 5 minutes, okay? All right, let's get it.
Assume I'm grumpy.
El Grumposaurus Rex over there.
Brandon, was I grumpy when I was there in Ohio?
No, you were not once.
Brandon,
I think it's
stop. Okay. He was grumpy when he was driving that twin stick. Stop it. He was going, oh, God, damn it, it's not coming. He had rust to brush off. He had some rust to brush off, so he was a little grumpy. Don't say that he doesn't get grumpy. Come on.
I would call it concentration. Not
There you go. There
concentration.
you go.
Oh, boy. Remember to like and share in your groups. All right, guys, let's start here. Oh, boy.
Thanks, Charles. Bye.
Oh, shoot. My TikTok. Sorry. All right, John, Brandon. John, what's going on in your trucking neighborhood? Come on, talk to me.
What's going on in my trucking neighborhood? Well, it was, of course, it was Sunday fun day with Dad in the shop, get everything ready to roll out for the week. Did that, came home. I got a few more things I got to do when we're done here, and just business as usual.
Just business as usual. Brandon,
Well,
how was your
actually,
week?
well, pretty crazy week. Actually, very productive. That's one good thing. We actually accomplished a lot this week. As you know, Murphy, the engine's in, transmission's in, which is huge. Wiring harness is almost done, so we're cooking right along with that project. Matter of fact, by the end of the week, we're going to be making some smoke, and I'm hoping that come Sunday we're driving in a convoy. That's the plan as of right now.
You mentioned a convoy.
Yeah.
You mentioned a convoy. You talk about that convoy real quick.
So Braden Tucker, Dying Breeds Diesel, he is actually putting on a convoy Sunday here in Ohio. I believe we're going to meet in Girard, I want to say. I'd have to look at it. And we're going to be going to the TA over here in Seville, across 76. So, we might have, who knows? Hopefully we'll get 60, 70 trucks, maybe more.
And that's I can't believe that I'm actually going to be there.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be there. I talked to Braden. I've been in touch with Braden. Please talk a little bit about Braden and what that group is that you mentioned and who's heading this. Is he heading it up? I believe he's heading it up.
Yeah, Braden's done this many times. I've been to a couple of his shows that he's put on before. He's down around Lisbon area, I want to say. I've only met him a handful of times, maybe 4 or 5 times, but every time I've met the man, he's just been an awesome guy. He's really the kind of guy that's got the best interest of this business in heart, and really everybody for that matter. I mean, you won't meet a nicer guy. So really awesome guy to have around here putting stuff on. And not only that, but the group that he's kind of started over the years, they're knocking it out of the park. Always have been.
Dude, I'm not going to lie, dude. I've been trying to get the driver's side material in there for a long time.
Yeah.
And it took me growing as an individual and get back to the roots of trucking, first of all, and have growth and not so much hostility and anger towards the industry that is it's very toxic. Okay.
Yep.
But when I came across that group, I realized that they just didn't let my material in there. Okay.
Yep.
So I had to build relationships within trucking to get that door to open. And now I'm going to be at a convoy next week, and I'm having the pleasure to get to sit down with Braden and with that group, and we're going to talk about that group and what they represent. John, have you heard of the group? It's Dying Breed Diesel. Let me get that straight. Dying Breed Diesel. And I'm sorry, Braden. Hold on, John. I misrepresented that. Now go ahead, John. Have you heard of that group?
Yeah, I've probably been a member of that group for probably going on 3 years now.
Yep.
I mean, they are representing.
I've been in there for a minute.
Yeah, it's crazy. John, do they have steering? Go ahead, Brandon.
They keep it a family atmosphere. That's one thing about the group. And Braden is very proactive in that department. That if you get on there a lot, he all the time posts stuff about, keep the language, everything else. I mean, it's truly a Facebook group where you can go to and everyone's accepted.
How far is your place, Brandon?
Braden's only probably about 2.5 hours southeast. He's not very far.
And
so
that's why.
He's got the dealership. He's got the truck dealership down there. So that's another place too. Someday, we all probably have to take a drive down there and check it out. He's always got really cool things on the lot down there. So,
well, I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag, I guess. I've been talking to him, and I plan on going to his facilities.
Yeah.
I plan on sitting down with him. I went and bought microphones today. I got 2 handheld microphones, so everybody, I got to get this together. It's not just with me; it's also with equipment. So I went and bought equipment because he said, he posted up about the convoy, and what I love what he said is no donations, nothing. We're not asking him nothing, just for you to come out and have a good time. And it's rare that happens these days, John. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. What do you think we can do better for this industry to make stuff like that happen?
I don't know if guys would just learn to communicate with each other. And I mean, there's a lot of guys out here that wouldn't give a new guy a time of day. But, if the new guy has the right attitude when he approaches somebody, a guy like me was more apt to respond to him than if they've just got, I'm not going to say a grumpy attitude, but just they give you that look like that old guy don't know nothing. And, they could learn a lot from an old guy like me. Heck, I learned some stuff from Brandon this week. Even he taught me a few things he didn't know about it, and then he learned about it, and then he taught my grumpy butt about it.
And this is what I'm talking about: old school with a new school twist. I mean, where do you think the phrase "steering wheel holder" came from, Brandon?
Well, naturally, I mean, actually yesterday. Okay, so here's a prime example. Yesterday, June 6th. What day is that other than very important day, D-Day, but Convoy Day, right? Watch the movie Convoy. Guess what? All different walks of life in that movie, all different kinds of people driving a truck. Some people, obviously are just simply drivers in this business, and that's all they want to be. And there's nothing wrong with that to a certain extent. And I think over the years, some of those people have developed that name of steering wheel holder just because they're not quite the kind of people that they want to learn everything there is to learn about the truck and that kind of stuff. And like I say, there's a place for, everybody here. And that's just unfortunately a phrase, I guess, it's kind of come about through all that.
That was a great answer, actually. I got nothing for that. But I want to go over to Grumpy with that. I want you to be honest, John. Okay? And I'm serious. Look, the thing that has to stop, I think, in this industry is sugarcoating. Okay?
Yeah.
I think that we try to follow a line, and I've tried to do it with broadcasting. I just have to do, the only thing I got to do here is stay true to the roots of trucking. Okay? John, what do you think the word steering, what does that mean to you? The name steering wheel holder?
Well,
be honest.
When you're out on the road and they have a light bulb go out, and it's something simple. Let's pull a light bulb out, push a new light bulb in, and you ask them, "Can you do that?" No, I don't have a clue. I'd have to go to the TA to do that. To me, a driver knows his equipment, understands his equipment, and kind of understands some of the basic fundamentals of it, and can kind of do a few things for himself besides just herd it down the road. But this industry has kind of let that happen, with all the technology and everything else. They just let it happen. They just need somebody to herd it down the road. They don't need them to know anything about it, really. As long as they can get it from point A to point B, that's all they care about.
And that's I can't disagree with you. Something that I think has really happened is I think they've taken the ones that actually take it as look at it as a lifestyle opposed to a career. I think that's in my opinion where that's where it's starting to get twisted. Is you have companies out here that teach people just how to haul their freight, and that's it. And their system.
They don't want them to know anything else, Wayne, because if they know anything else, then they're scared that they're learning something, and we don't treat our drivers worth a darn. But if they start to learn something, they might get the knowledge, be able to go somewhere else, that they might actually get treated like a human being instead of just a number. 9 times out of 10, them companies, they don't even know the driver's name; they're a number.
Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with John in that aspect. They don't want these guys to know anything more than what they know, because the second they do, they're more valuable and they're not going to stick around, and I think that there's some repression in this business to a certain extent, that companies purposely repress their drivers to keep drivers, basically. I agree 100%. I mean, that was well said.
All right, let me go to Gary
I mean,
Phelps.
come on. I'm going to pick on you now, Wayne, for a minute.
Go ahead.
7th or 9th hole. As long as it can be I can have my trailer in the 7th or 9th hole, it can be legal. That's all you were taught to know. You don't know how many pounds per hole it is.
You're right. Okay, and you're right. That's what they teach in the big megas. Okay, they teach you to run California. Hold on, John. You picked on me. Hold on. If you picked on me, let me say why that is though. What these big megas do is they push their students to run California legal, and they say the 7th hole basically is California legal. Okay, if you weigh out in the 7th hole, you're legal. What these people don't do is they don't know how to slide their tandems to adjust their weight. Okay, so they can't grip the concept of how to adjust your weight. So they teach them just this specific type of freight, this lane, okay? Because basically it's frozen food. It's the same type of stuff every day. But once in a while you'll get that forklift operator that doesn't know how to load a truck. So he loaded you wrong, and you got more in your tandems or more in your steer, whatever. And that's what these big megas don't do, is they don't teach you outside of what they haul. Okay?
Right.
So when they teach you a one way and don't teach you what those other holes do and how that works, well, you have the 7th hole, run the 7th hole. And if you run the 7th hole, then you're legal. And these guys go out there, they don't even bother. They just put it in the 7th hole and think they're legal. That's what happens. Period. They don't even go weigh. Oh no, I'm in the 7th hole. I'm good. I don't have to weigh. No, driver, that's not how that works. Brandon or John, go ahead. Which are Make America Great Again. Go ahead. That's what they teach, John.
Yeah, it's just sad. It's just sad. You know? I mean, I don't know. You know, I eat it, sleep it, breathe it. It's just more than just a job to me. It's a lifestyle. It's a career. It's even a hobby. I mean, you see what we're doing at the shop. That's all for being a hobby. You know, doing that cab over. You know.
All right, so here's what we're gonna go to this, because we got to get to the topic. It's division within. Okay. What do you think that it is that's the problem between the veteran of today's industry and the new school? I'm gonna start with Brandon.
Well, personally, I think, you know, some of the veterans are just too. They've been out here too long. They've been doing this too long. The industry has changed too rapidly, and it's put a bad taste in their mouth for maybe the new drivers. And they kind of close up and really don't want to deal with them and don't want to maybe share some of their knowledge, help them out, you know, that kind of thing, just because they've had so many bad experiences with that in the past. I know there's been many times where, you know, even me, I'm not obviously a very, you know, old guy, but I've walked up to maybe people who you can tell are struggling or, you know, whatever, and tried to help them out, and they give you the cold shoulder. Well, you get that enough times and, you know, you start to feel like maybe there's no good left in this world, you know, and that's kind of how people are. But I still try to help, you know, and I think that's maybe where some veteran drivers and some older guys, you know, they kind of get an attitude with these people and they just kind of shut down, you know, and they don't want to do anything for them. It's at least my opinion.
John, great answer.
I mean, I'm with Brandon. I'm with Brandon on it. I mean, I'm not afraid to help somebody if somebody comes up to me and asks me. But when they come up and ask me, they got to do it in the right way. They can't just be rude about it and expect me to help them. I can't tell you how many times I've had guys walk up to me and go, "Hey man, do you have a screwdriver?" "Yeah, don't you have one in your truck?" "No, that's why I'm asking you." Well, you know, that's something I'll tell them, you know, at least carry a little toolkit or something so you can at least help yourself somewhat. But I mean, I'm with Brandon on it. It's since I've been out here, things have changed a lot. And do I like all the changes? No, I don't. Do I like what I see in the industry for drivers? No, I don't. I hate flip-flops. I hate sweatpants. And when they dress like that and act like that and put their feet up on the dash and drive down the road, that's just a disgrace to me.
No, you are.
Hi, Karen. So basically, it's basically walking over. I want to say it's walking all over the grassroots of trucking. Okay,
Yeah.
my dad and the people that I know that were in the trucking industry and that I grew up around, we were discriminated on technically because we'd hit that road, we'd go down the road, and we were called Hollywood drivers. We were spoiled. Okay, we didn't scale houses, all that. That doesn't matter. We just went. But what I think happened is there these it's so jaded now. But people like Rob and that are open and that have been through that have been on the show, sir. He's just been all over this industry, and I don't know how Rob's done it, and I'm kind of getting. I don't think I answered that correctly, but Rob, what I want to say to you is, what do you feel is the anxiety, the animosity between the older generation and the younger generation in today's trucking?
I think it's all where they came from, where they got trained, and the way they were trained. They think they know it all because this is the way that so and so said to do it, even though they were told wrong. And they don't want to listen. They don't want to listen to anybody. But back when I started, we listened to everybody. We needed help, and there was always people there to help.
The reason why I asked Rob, because the reason why I wanted Rob to answer that before we got too far is because I'm gonna bring up Justin Spiess, Rob, and I'm gonna bring up him and his Pro Star, and him being at truck shows with that Pro Star.
Is there a dog outside?
And you actually went up to my Karen. Why are you doing this right now? So I love you guys. So Justin, you made a mark in his life, Rob. And you're a veteran. You didn't get that pretty truck overnight, okay? And you made an impression on that man as you light your cigarette. Did you got some for sale too? But what I'm trying to say is, it's an inside joke. Sorry. What I'm trying to say is you made an impression on that man, on that young man, Justin Spiess, because you went up to him and you said, "Man, you take a lot of pride in that truck. You take a lot of pride in your ride, and you respect it, and you can respect that." And that stuck with him. And now he drives a Pete, and it's beautiful, and it's got so much class. I love his truck, and I just want to tell you that, Rob, because he told me that. He said, Rob Hallahan, he's a do-it-yourself guy.
Yeah, but the thing with Justin is Justin was somebody that wanted to listen. It's like I told you my story. I told you about the old Darrell Long story. And I always wanted to be like that. And I think Justin, he was like that too. He cared and he wanted to listen. And I gave him the time of day. I sat and talked with him back when he didn't even really, his truck wasn't even, anything to brag about back then. But what he did do it, he took pride in it. And he worked on it and tried his best. And, he asked me, what can I do to make this better? Or what can I do to make that better? So I always helped him out.
Brandon, that's awesome, Rob. And that's what I'm talking about is just the fact that I can't thank you enough for noticing that. It's kind of like you did with me. You noticed me and you said, "Look, Wayne, get it together. You can have something here." And here we are. Seriously, it's being open-minded. I said it earlier. Brandon, what's going on? Why do you think that people aren't as open-minded these days?
Well, it's like I was kind of touching to earlier. I mean, look at the, I guess, class of how people are this day and age. It used to be that you would go out places and people would be friendly. Naturally, I live in a northern state. You always knew if you went south, everybody was super friendly. I live in an Amish Mennonite community. Everybody waves at you here. Everybody. Anything you would need, you stop and ask somebody, they're going to tell you, And out there in the real world, though, the world's become a pretty ugly place, and people aren't as friendly as they used to be. And I think that's where drivers now, we struggle probably more than we ever have. And it's a generational issue, like I told you too, that time changes, generations change, people change, the way things are done changes. Well, we go out now, as soon as we walk into a shipping office normally, and you're the new guy walking in, or it's the first time you've ever been there, normally we get treated like crap. And, you get enough of that, like I say, over time, and it kind of makes you a bitter person, I guess, would be the best way to put it. So it's my opinion.
Get it.
No, he's right. He's right.
I mean, I hope that we can all start doing something together. You know, it's simple because Rob right down below, he just met up with Gary Phelps. Gary Phelps met us three right here just days before that. And we are all in separate areas, but everybody took the time out for each other. And I thought that was really cool. Rob, how was it meeting Gary, Rob? Because we got to meet him too. How was that?
Oh, it was cool. I mean, he sent me a message earlier in the day, said where he was going to be at 5:00, and I knew I'd be going through there. So, you know, I mean, I didn't have a problem with, you know, taking an hour to stop and pull up and meeting the guy. I see him on here and I talk to him on here and chat with him every once in a while. So, you know, I'd like to put a face with that, you know. It was just like when I came out, you know, and met you. And I'm still waiting to meet John. He only lives 95 miles away.
That's crazy. And
he's pulling my wagon around, and I've never met him in person.
And I found John through Rob. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to a comment.
I was driving by John's house. By John's house. I didn't even know it. And he'd sent me a message. He's like, "You just drove by my house."
and John's not lying, because I sat on John's porch. It's one of the best places to. Oh boy, I'm spinning. Don't worry, guys, if you can hear me. The best places that I've ever been, as far as the side of the country and having the highway right there, because I could literally take pictures all day. But yeah, it's true. We've all drove by John's house 1,000 times and didn't even know it. There's somebody driving by there right now that's going to see this show. Get it? So I'm going to go to Billy Joe Burrell, and I like this guy. He's got a comment that says, "I hate to say it, the trucking industry has gotten lazy over the years. The government and big companies are dumbing it down more and more every day." It's my opinion on how I see it. Brandon, how do you feel? How do you feel about that? Let's go with Brandon, then we'll go to John, then Rob.
Well, that's a very good comment. I mean, you know, look at me. I mean, it goes back to trucks. Look at the stuff I'm running. You know, my trucks, you got to work to drive them. You know that, Wayne. There's something you got to think about what you're doing. You know, it's not easy. You just don't get in it, turn the key, mash the throttle. You know, you gotta be thinking about what you're doing to drive one of my trucks. Back in the early days of trucking, you know, it was difficult. You actually had to do stuff, and you couldn't be lazy. You know, those guys went through hell and back basically on some of these loads, and they had to work for it. They had to want it. You know, it wasn't just driving a truck. You had to work to drive a truck back in the day.
Real quick, Rob, you got a little wind. Go ahead, Brandon.
The progression of the industry, you know, it's everything goes hand in hand. The whole world has progressed into a lazy world. Machines have made it easier for us. Machines have become more advanced. Trucks are no different. Look at how advanced trucks are now. They've taken so much of the guesswork, so much of the work out of trucking. When you drive a new truck versus what I'm driving, I practically want to fall asleep behind the wheel because it's totally different. You know, it used to be that the truck driver was one with the machine. The man and the machine worked together hand in hand, and you had control over the truck just as much as the truck had control over you. That's changed a lot. It's made people lazy. So, yeah, I mean, he's right.
What do you say about that, John?
Brandon's right. The trucks have made people lazy. He's exactly right. And you know, Brandon's talking about with, you know, you have to think to drive one of Brandon's trucks. And we're not, let's just take old Lightning out of the equation. Everything else Brandon's got, you got to think while you're driving it. You can't just zone out.
And I can't wait to tear him up.
It's not going to stop itself if somebody cuts you off. It's not going to slam on the brakes for you. You have to think.
Rob, you drive a 2020 beautiful Kenworth. But what do you think? You drive new equipment. Talk to me. Is your equipment dumbing you down, or did you get it with the packages that won't dumb you down?
I wouldn't say it dumbs you down. I don't have no automatic or nothing. I mean, I still have a truck. It's still a truck.
That's what I said. You got the right package.
It's a little bit longer. Than everybody else's. You know, things like that. You know, it's a lot more complicated to drive my truck than it is to just jump in a Freightliner and go. You know, but I like to be lazy too, though. Sometimes I wish I had an automatic. I could just kick back and ride.
Well, here's what I'm going to say, because I'm going to go back to the actual comment, because the dude made a great comment. It's Billy Joe Varell. He's 100% right. So what's happening is these big megas, what they're doing is they're training people in automatics, okay? That's what I'm seeing. I'm going to use a specific example of dumbing down the industry. Not just dumbing down the industry, you're cutting yourself short because you're restricted for one. And when you get trained in an automatic and you go out into this industry, you can only drive an automatic. I understand and I love an automatic for the veteran, for people that have been in the industry for a little while and they got an understanding of how that equipment works, the way it was originally made. Okay, the twin stick, yes, you have to really think to drive that. I don't know how to drive that, but everything else he has in that yard, I can drive no problem, all day long. But what I think is the way it's starting with training. And I do think that these big megas, like I said, they're tailoring it down to where it's just for them. And basically, these drivers are coming into the industry, and they're just tailored for that. And I think that's. Am I wrong with that comment? Please tell me.
Well, I think everybody should learn, in a manual transmission. I don't think anybody should learn in an automatic, but that's just my opinion. I got a funny story about that twin stick, though. Back when I worked at Trelo, I was leased to Trelo, and they had a truck sitting in the shop, and they were going to go run and get parts. I wanted to pull my truck in the shop and wash it, and he said, "Yeah, go ahead and move the A model, and you can put your truck in." And they all got in the pickup and left, and I jumped in that A model, and I looked at it, I'm like, "Oh shit, I don't know how to drive this thing." So I came back, and they're like, "Did you wash your truck already?" I said, "No, I don't know how to move this one." I wasn't even going to attempt to do it. I had no idea.
That's what happened to me in the oil field with 18 speed. I only drove a 13 speed at the point. They're like, "All right, take 51, Wayne."
I mean, it was a 6 and a 4.
I was scared of an 18 speed.
There's 36 years.
I was scared of an 18 speed. Come on. I mean, seriously.
No, it's 9 and a 4 or something. I don't remember. 36 years.
Rob.
What's that?
It would have been a 9 and a 4 with 36.
Yeah, 9 and a 4. 9 and a 4, he said. Yeah.
So what do you think we can do as people that are in this industry? You got me bouncing around the country. I'm getting ready to go to Ohio. What do you think we can all do better? I mean, what do you to help this industry as far as just at this? Somebody, go ahead. Anybody.
Brandon, go.
All right. Well, I think, obviously, I mean, the biggest thing is guys like us, we have to kind of be there for people who are willing to learn and who are willing to, listen and kind of learn some of this stuff, and not to say we're always right, that kind of thing, but, some of our advice is helpful. And I think, we need to be more mindful of what it's like to start out, I guess, again. One thing that always cracks me up is you always hear these guys on the CB who are always knocking another driver, and maybe they're new or, they're having problems or whatever. And, they act like they come out of the womb driving a truck right off the bat. Well, guess what? We all started somewhere. And I'm a guy that, I didn't grow up around trucking. So, I remember me and my first load, I started somewhere. Now, naturally, I had a natural knack for it. I got lucky. But not everybody gets that lucky. And us older guys, and I'm not even that old, but the guys who have been around, just give good information and try to help these people. And not only that, but what we're doing right now, Wayne, this is laying the groundwork for maybe some change too. We need to start programs, do different things that are going to help these guys, because it used to be you would grow up on a farm and you would have some kind of equipment experience. The modern day person doesn't grow up on a farm anymore. They have zero equipment experience where they get into this. And I don't care what they do to the semis, how easy they make it to drive them, how much they change the equipment over the years. It's still a piece of machinery. Yeah. It's very dangerous, and you need to learn every piece of it somehow or not.
Rob.
Yeah.
Rob. What do you think of Brandon?
You want him out?
I'm in a live show.
Rob's got somebody to talk to. Rob, you've been meeting a lot. You've met Gary. You haven't met John. What do you think of Brandon? Did you hear me?
What's that?
Okay, Rob's. Did you hear me, Rob? Okay, Rob's having.
I never.
All right, I was wondering, what do you think of Brandon? What do you think of this young guy? What do you think of this young man?
I think he's amazing. My honest God, he's amazing. The shit that he's done. I haven't met the guy yet. I can't wait to meet him. I wish I would have known that I drove through Ashland last week and didn't even think that was where he lived.
I'm excited, dude. I'm excited. This dude's killing it.
I drove right through there.
You need to get a hold of your dispatcher who's on the other end of the screen and have a
There
I think I slept about 30 miles from your house.
Wow.
I love it. Right on. Get it. I love what you said, Brandon. And you're right, though. Not everybody that the farm's not available as much anymore. And guess what? Everybody didn't learn on a farm. I learned with my dad, and I learned what a driver meant to me first before I knew what a truck was. Okay, my dad was big on the drivers. My dad's driver. I don't care what they drive. And it wasn't a farm. It was the big city. There's people that come out of the big city that love trucking. Okay, that's what people need to realize. Every walk of life is in this industry. And I think that us all getting together and us doing this and spreading information is basically all we're doing is going to help. John, what do you think? There's my girl.
Yeah, I think spreading the information would help. And see, she heard your voice, and now we got a problem. See, now she's going to be a camera hog. No, don't worry about what's on that plate. Do you mind?
Okay. All right. Are we okay? What did John say? I was distracted by the dog.
I said sharing information is an important thing.
And it's also important that we start. And I know why she came into the picture, because we need more women on this show. We really do. Rebecca's in here and she pointed. She's like, Wayne, I love all your drivers. I love all those guys, but you need more women. What do you think, guys? How do we get more women on the show? Somebody help me, because
bring them in.
I mean, I need you guys to help me out there, because I know a lot of women in the industry, but they're just busy, or they're not too keen on the camera.
Yeah.
So look, I'm reaching out. I'm sending it now.
And nobody's asking.
And don't look at me, Wayne, because you know I'm no good in the woman department. So.
Oh God. But yeah, guys, we are looking for a woman on for the panel. We are. We really do. We need more women. Oh, Renee Anderson. I can start bringing Renee on more. I need to start bringing Renee on more. What do you think, Rob? Rob's frozen. Okay, let's go to Keith Becker. I wouldn't
do it. She wants to do it. I mean.
Right, I agree. Yeah, Rob. I need to talk to her more. So Renee Anderson, let's talk. Let's get this moving. All right, Keith Becker. I would love to meet all three of you guys, but I only go east once a year. All right, guys. So here's what's going to happen. You guys are going to start. People are going to start reaching out to you if they haven't already. I know that John and Brendan's friends requests are through the roof right now, but. Are you guys open to meeting other drivers? And if you're in the same area and they reach out and say, hey, we're in this area, you guys open to that?
Sure.
Yeah. You know, I travel, as you know, I go all over the place for truck shows. So, you know, there's no telling where I'll be next year, you know. So if I'm out and about, I mean, I don't just stay local all the time. You know, we go out a couple times a year and then truck shows. So I could be anywhere.
All right, so here's a question.
And there's probably a chance that we've seen each other before then.
Oh, I guarantee you. I guarantee it.
All right, so here's a question, Rob. With everything that's been going on and stuff like that, and all these truck shows that have gone, basically, that I don't know what's going on. I think we got one truck show coming up. Do you think that hurts the camaraderie of this industry? Okay, Rob's having an issue. What about you, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. You know, here locally, and I'm sure there's some people on here that's watching that, you know, is part of a group. We have a Facebook group here locally for local truckers, and we got some real jokesters on there, you know, and we're all out kind of doing our own thing. We're all busy all the time. We all don't get to see each other. And, you know, there's one time a year around here that we do a convoy and everybody's there. And you know what? We all get together. We all laugh, have a good time. And it's kind of that one time a year that we're all in the same spot at the same time. And, you know, without that, it kind of, friendships and things like that drift away over time whenever you don't hear from people and that kind of stuff. And it's just nice to see everybody, even if it's just once a year and you get all the trucks together once a year. It's nice to see everybody that way.
Yeah, I can't wait because I've been to GATS a lot. That's the only truck show I've ever been to. Rob, what do I have to look? Are you back, Rob? Do you have audio?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. What do I have to look forward to, Rob, when these truck shows start kicking back up? Are you gonna be at the truck show next month? Is it Wupon?
I'm going to Waupun. Yeah.
Okay. Is it Wapon or Wupon? What is it? Somebody
Waupun.
correct me. Wapon. Thank you. Jeez Louise, it's like these guys are scared to correct me. I don't get it. What do we have to look forward to Wupon?
Learn to talk
Rob?
Yankee, damn it.
Rob, what do we have to look forward at Wupon?
I don't. Waupun's just there's just a lot of people there. It's going to be usually there's usually about 300-400 trucks. So
I think this year
you're going to be busy. You're going to be running around.
Yeah, you're going to be running around because
this year there's going to be a lot more.
Yeah, I was talking to the president of that show the other day, and he's expecting a pretty good sized turnout.
Well, I'm hoping. Okay, so here's what's going to happen as far as I go. I'm going to be up in Ashland, Ohio. I'm going to be at Hollerback. We're moving into Hollerback for a while. It's going to be the base camp for the driver's side. I'm going to be bouncing back in between there and Wisconsin, okay, over to John. And because John and Mr. Schroeder are doing a cab over. They're restoring this cab over, and I can't wait. And I'm going to try to do the process of that. And then Brandon's working on Lightning, which is his 1981 A model Kenworth.
80.
Correct, Brandon?
80.
80.
Keep it up, boys. Keep it up. Right. 80. All right. I don't care. I'm still older than it, so it ain't that. I'm still older than it, so it ain't that old. Okay. But Brandon's gonna be building that. It'll be behind me every day. You're not gonna be able to see every day from the morning show, but I'm gonna help you. We're gonna follow the progress together between both of them, and then we're gonna all drive to the truck show. Me and Brandon are gonna be in Lightning. He's gonna have that twin stick going. I'll be there doing live feeds throughout, all the way up to it, and I'll be doing live feeds from the truck show. I'm excited because I can't wait. I haven't been part of this part of trucking, so I'm excited about it. Brandon, what do we got coming since I'm moving up there?
It's like I told you on the phone yesterday. There's so much stuff up here. I mean, you're in the heart of trucking here. Not to say that Wisconsin and everywhere else is in the heart of trucking, but here locally, we have so much trucking heritage within a 30-mile radius. It's crazy, and we haven't even begun to scratch the surface around here of all the places I can take you and all the cool stuff I can show you. I mean, we've got a lot of ground to cover as far as that's concerned. You've got all these other guys here also that you've got a lot of ground to cover with them as well. And then the truck show side of things that you're saying, you haven't really been part of. If you like what you've seen so far, be prepared to have your socks blown off on the rest of it, because truck shows you're going to see the real heritage there. That's where you're really going to see it.
And look, I'm ready because I'm ready for heritage. I'm ready for large cars, the new, the old, all of it, because I felt like Sisters was a truck show, Rob. I was down to Sisters. I'd drive 2 hours just to broadcast there on Sunday. Just to have one of them cars. And sure enough, the first time I go down there, I bump into Michael Taylor with that pretty Pete, and I use it as my backdrop. I'm looking forward to this because I'm looking forward to meeting more drivers. Okay, I'm looking forward to meeting more people that are very deeply involved in this industry, and I think us exposing it and using social media finally in a way that's actually good and not bashing each other. We're here to maybe pick on each other and not get along, but in the end, we're going to show solidarity. We're going to show that we could do this together. I think that technology. And we take new school and add an old school. We take old school and add a new school twist on it. John, kind of like Brandon's doing with Murphy. John, you saw Murphy. You saw what he's doing to Murphy, that A model that he's got in the shop. What do you think of that, John?
Ask you what I told him. I said I wouldn't have no problem with somebody like Lightning. You just put a big hole in her, and away I could go. I'd be happier than a pig happier than a pig in a pen full of poop.
Talk about the one. What are you doing with? What's going on with Murphy, Brandon? What are you doing with Murphy? I'm asking Brandon. We at Jay's shop. What's going on there?
Murphy has the name Murphy. We'll start with the name, okay? So Murphy has the name Murphy because of Murphy's Law. So Murphy has been a truck since day one. You name it, anything that could possibly go wrong with Murphy has gone wrong, and I mean everything. So we went into that truck 3 years ago and pretty much went through the entire truck, out of frame the engine, transmission, just about every bolt on the truck was turned. And kind of funny because, 40-year-old truck, we're dealing with problems, dealing with 40-year-old parts, stuff does happen, and we're kind of going around on the second round of Murphy again. So Murphy is a 1981 A model Kenworth. And what we're doing is it's a little unique. Like I say, as far as I know, it's the only one that I know of that's going to have a 14-liter Detroit in it, which is a 2003 Detroit engine. So obviously 1981, 2003 never happened as far as putting that engine together with that truck. So there's lots of 6NZ cats out there. There's E-model cats. There's 12.7 Detroits, no 14 liters that I know of. So we're kind of in groundbreaking territory there. We are taking old technology and marrying it with new technology. Everything in the dash, when you open up the door of the truck, you won't know it's an electronic engine. We haven't really changed. We've changed a lot of wiring. We've done some unique things so we can have some of our indicator lights and things like that. But whenever you actually look inside the truck, you're going to think it's a 1981 A model, and it's pretty much a standard stock truck. Different story under the hood, obviously. So lots happening with that truck. Could be hopefully done by Friday. We're going to work real hard on it this week, and hopefully, like I say, we'll be driving it Friday is kind of the goal. So,
shout out to Jay's Truck and Equipment Repair and Tom and Miles. Rob, what do you think of that, bro? What do you think he's doing in that A-model with that engine?
I've never heard of anybody doing it.
Right. Every time we turn the corner, this kid's got something. This young man's got something. He's got something, and it's hot. It's like, what the hell is this guy doing? Because he just talked complete Japanese to me. But what I think is cool is the new school with the old school with the new school twist. Because he's talking to me today, and he's telling me about how the speedometer. He had to go get a speedometer, and that it's good. They have to teach it to talk to each other, and that's amazing. That's actually, you're going to look at that speedometer and it's going to look old school, but it's actually clocking new school. Correct, Brandon?
Yeah. It's really nothing. It's not, that's the thing too. It's not like we're reinventing the wheel here either. This technology's been around for a long time, but what we are doing, and he's not going to like to hear this, but the grumpy old man there at the bottom of the screen is basically telling me, the young gun, what to do. And we're kind of doing that with the old trucks telling the computer, which is a new computer, what to do. And we're getting the two to communicate back and forth. And there's some uniqueness to that because there's a lot of things you got to figure out on that end. So kind of, something different, like you say. It's been done many times. Not like we're doing something that, hasn't been done before, other than the fact of it's a 14-liter Detroit that I just don't know exists in any other standard hood A model for that.
I think it's amazing what you're doing with it. So.
Well, I appreciate that because let me tell you, there was a lot of us, Jay, Tom, all of us standing around scratching our heads with a tape measure, wondering whether it was going to fit or not. Because when we were, figuring all these parts out, we're also talking. We have to change radiator. We have to make a radiator bracket. We have to fit a charge air in there, air conditioning. Everything changes. So you have a limited amount of space you have to squeeze all that stuff into. And when you're just standing there with a tape measure, and you don't know whether it's truly going to fit or not, that's kind of a big deal, and I will give a lot of us credit in that. We spent a lot of time trying to figure that out, whether it was actually going to fit, because that was the $1 million question.
I think that'd be nerve-wracking.
Crushing. Rob, I can't wait to get up there. I can't wait till we're all sitting down together and we're able to all actually shake hands and have a broadcast all together and just good old school, just hanging out. I miss having friends. I really do, and I feel like I'm finding them within the trucking industry again. Period. It's a crazy world. It's crazy what's going on. What advice can you guys give to drivers that are out there today and want to be successful? What is the thing that you're doing the most, Brandon? To be, what do you think? What do you think?
Ellie was going to be talking sideband here in a second.
What? What?
You turned Rob sideways. I said he's going
No, Rob turned himself sideways. Rob's having issue. I don't know what Rob's doing. He's showtime. All right. Well, what are you doing to be successful today, Brandon?
Well, it still goes back to, like I say, the very basics of this business of, naturally, we're in a pretty big project right now with Murphy that's something I couldn't pull off on my own. I mean, that's something I had to outsource some of that work, and I'm still there working on it as well, but we had to outsource some of that stuff because I don't have the kind of time it's going to take to research all that. But, work on your truck, figure your stuff out. You want to help yourself in this business? Talk to an old guy. Figure out how your truck works. Figure out what you can do mechanically. I can't say enough. When you go out there on the road, really, you're going out into an ocean all by yourself, just like a ship goes out into the sea. And guess what? They're on their own. It's no different than you hopping in that truck and you cruising down the highway. To a certain extent, you're on your own. And guess what? If something happens, you're responsible. And you better know how to get yourself out of that situation or how to reach out to somebody, whatever it takes to help yourself. But really, you're going out in the ocean all by yourself, and you better know what you're doing. That's the way I look at it. Help yourself. There's so many ways to help yourself. Anybody that ever wants to talk or has questions, you got my Facebook. I'm out there. I'll help you in any way I
can. The one thing I love about this is we're not here to sell the driver or anything, are we?
No.
John, are we selling anything? No. We just want trucking to be great again, right? Like America to be great again.
Yeah.
All right, let's make trucking great again.
John,
yeah.
What can we do to make trucking great again?
Brandon took it right out of my mouth.
I know. I want you to know. I want you. Don't stop using him.
No.
Stop riding his coattails. Start thinking for yourself. What can we do? Come on, answer the question. I'm gonna make.
If you see a young guy struggling, help him. I mean, don't be afraid. Hey, I'll tell you, I haven't been out here a minute. And anytime I see somebody that I know has been out here longer than me, I love to stand and talk to them and ask them questions. I do. That's part of it. When I go out on the road, that's the part I like.
Well, the one thing I'm going to hope that I'm going to try to help start doing, because I was guilty of it myself, is stop judging and start loving some more. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the time out to hear people. Like I had to take the time out to learn to listen to you guys, because it's not easy for me. Somebody said it earlier, my ADD kicked in. And yes, I do have ADD. I've done a lot of damage to myself throughout the years, let alone the ADD. But there's one thing that's happening in my life that I'm not going to, this is why I'm not going to stop.
Squirrel.
Is what? Stop it. Seriously, dude? In the middle, bro? I'm gonna kick you dead in the...
You get him every time.
What I'm trying to say is I do suffer from that. I do suffer from ADD, and I've had to take the time out to listen to you guys. It's hard for me to even listen to myself, let alone somebody else. But the fact of the matter is it's hard to even hold somebody's attention span today. It's hard to get somebody to even want to listen to you with that phone in their hand. It's just, I think that we've really gone away from things. And the one thing that I'm going to do is be more open and not judge and start loving some more, because I don't want to lose what we have. And the one thing I don't want to lose that's happening right now is young men like Brian and Waylon. Okay? The only way I see change happening for this industry, because I seen drivers sit in Washington for 3 weeks, and they said that they, supposedly things are going to happen, and then I'm watching America basically burn in the streets and people being pitted against each other, and I'm not going to play a part in that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to kids, because I noticed something. They look at me and they like me, and you know what? I'm going to start doing that more, because hey, if they like me, they like this. If they like this, they're going to learn something eventually. It starts with the kids. Is where I think the change starts. I know people that used to go to high schools and stuff like that with trucks, but they didn't really have the time to do it. They could only do it once in a while. I have the time. I have people that have the trucks, and I'm not going to stop. John, do you think that's part of how we change this industry?
Well, I can tell you, yeah, that would be a good idea. But I can tell you what's really changed this industry. And it's one simple little thing, and we all play on them every day. This is why drivers don't talk to each other anymore. This is why drivers aren't on the CB radio anymore. Right here. Right here.
Well, they actually have a CB app on there.
That's changed it so much because they figure they don't need to talk to another driver if they can't figure something out. There's always a phone call away to somebody that can tell them how to do it or fix it.
Brandon.
Well, we've had this conversation a lot lately. Like I've told you, look back through history. It takes a generation to solve problems that are this deeply rooted. Look at where we're at in the world right now. These problems will not be solved tomorrow. They won't be solved next year. They won't be solved 5 years from now. It takes a generation to make change happen. And if people like us and the right people do the right things now, when Waylon and Brian and really all the kids, all the kids that hang around here, Levi, all of them, by the time they're old enough to drive a truck, their generation is now in charge, and hopefully we taught them the right thing, that they're going to be out on it, and hopefully it'll be a better place. That's what I say is if we do it now, we're kind of in charge of the moment, so teach them.
What about you, Rob? Great. Because see, that's I have to listen, but also make sure I pay the comment. That was a great comment. Rob, you think reaching out to kids and this could be a start of something with like me having all the time and having drivers like you guys available to me, and I can start hanging out with kids and start showing them the trucking industry, today's industry?
Yeah, maybe to a certain extent, but the problem is the insurance companies control that. All we can do is talk to them.
Rob, I'm talking about the little kids. The little kids.
Little kids.
Yeah,
kids.
Remember, okay, what I'm saying is Brandon told me to go study the American trucker, which I'm doing. I'm looking at a lot of things, and I'm trying to learn from each and every one of them because things have been tried many, many, many times before. We've tried with trucks going to schools and teaching the kids how to get up in the trucks.
Oh, yeah.
It only happens once in a while. If me traveling the country, let alone the truck stops to interview drivers and talk to drivers, me going into the schools and just being involved with more kids, creating convoys like with where I'm going and exposing that. Do you think that could start helping change this industry and making it better?
Yeah, maybe for the future, it would change, kids' outlook on truckers. Back in the day, when I was a little kid, all I wanted to do was be a trucker. All I wanted to do was, pump my arm at trucks going by, things like that. But I didn't know any truckers. I never knew a trucker. I wasn't born into it or nothing like that. I just loved the trucks. I drew pictures of them, things like that when I was a little kid. But I guess, yeah. If you went and talked to schools or whatever, or talked to the kids and gave them an idea of what we do, then later in their life, they'll respect what we do and they'll respect the industry. But that ain't going to change right now.
No. Okay,
that might change the future.
Well, here's why I'm saying this, Rob. Is there's two reasons why I'm saying this. Technology for one, and I'm going to touch on that, and the other one is the government implements regulations, and a lot of them are 5-year plans, like the e-log. It went in 2012, wrote in, and then 2017 it went into law. I think if we start raising these kids to even know how to get change before the change happens and all that, we start teaching them that. On top of that, the technology. I'm going to go back to technology. I don't know if anybody's ever watched YouTube these days and stuff like that, but you got these gamers out there, American Truck Simulator, and then you got people that I don't know the name of the games, but they're just weird with these grown adults. They sit in the corner and they commentate, and they're interacting with kids on a video game level. I think that if I try to get people like kids like Waylon and Brian, which I'm bringing their shirts, they're right here right now. So I hope they don't see this, but the surprise is out because I made shirts for them because they mean so much to me. Hi, Phillip, we see you. And this is what I did, okay? All right. It says mascot, all right? On the back. One's going to be Smokey, one's going to be Bandit. So make sure you guys get that worked out before I come, because I don't want to be in the position to pick. All right. So thank you, honey. I love you so much, Sheila, for going to do that. And my wife just went and picked him up just now because we were having an issue with the logo. But I think right there, I think we start there, and we start getting together more, and we start talking like drivers did, like back in the day. I want to see those fists pumping again. I want to see those ropes hanging. Okay. I want to see those ropes hanging again, and I don't want the old school values to go away. And I want us as old schoolers to learn from these young guys right here, Rob, because I know, John and you guys are. I'm blown away with this young guy, Brandon. John,
What?
huh? Aren't you? Are you not impressed with this young man? Are you not hearing me?
The young man knows I'm very impressed with him. We wouldn't be doing what we're doing together.
Well, I don't, John. I'm not asking. Okay, the thing is, I'm not asking you to tell Brandon. I'm asking you to tell the audience, dude.
Oh yeah,
Hey, guys.
I'm very impressed with Brandon. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
what's going on? I mean, he's doing it right. I mean, I love his fleet. I love the way he does things. He's
Don't you get an ego, Brandon? I'll kill you.
That's what I was just getting ready to say. If you guys keep it up, I'm not going to be able to walk out the office door. I mean,
honestly,
God, I'm gonna hear. I already know I'm gonna hear it from your mother.
oh, I know.
Tina's gonna go, Wayne, you need to stop. He's gonna be like this big. His head's gonna be this big.
his mom pegged it on the head. He's an old soul.
That's the best. That's the best part about me, and that's something I want people out there watching to know. Is the reality of it is I'm a person that I'm not an ego person. I'm just me, and I'm not the kind of person that I mean, I'm naturally. It's great to hear that the people who I look up to think I'm doing a good job. That makes you feel good, but I'm also not a person who really can There's a lot of other young guys out there that are doing this who deserve credit too, and it's not just me. I'm by no means better than anybody else doing this. I'm just me.
And and thank you, Brandon. Thank you for that. Okay, and don't worry, you make sure that I don't develop an ego either. Rob, Brandon, I'm going to keep you here for a minute. Rob, I can't thank you for stopping by enough. I can't thank you for stopping by enough. I can't thank you enough for stopping by. All right, you're helping me. You've helped me throughout this new career that I've chose. You helped me to believe in this industry again. I've got everything invested in here. We're packing up. My wife's putting her 2 weeks. It's happening. And I'm taking the risk, and I'm investing in drivers in this industry because you guys have pushed me to believe that we can do this and that we can make this industry better. Thank you, Rob.
You're welcome, and we'll keep on bringing them to you. We'll keep on finding more and more people. It's going to get bigger. It's going to get better. That's all it can do. It can only go better from here.
Thank you, Rob. Tell Karen I love her. Tell Cash what's up, and tell Cash to start dude. That dude. Rob, I'll talk to you later. Thank you, Rob.
All right, peace out.
John Herdrich, happy birthday, brother.
Thank you.
Tell Tiff I love her. Tell the old man I love him. Tell Dad I love him. Tell Dan I love him. Everybody over in Wisconsin, thank you. Thank you. All of you. There's so many drivers that I've met, but John, thank you for letting me in your life.
I'll see you Tuesday, Brandon.
Yep, we'll see you Tuesday.
I'll see you next week, John. I'll see you next week. Here we are, young gun. Get it.
What's up?
I'm no older than Waylon or Brian. I'll tell you that right now. You got a kid moving up there.
That's what I want everybody to know watching this. Wayne is a child at heart. He is never going to grow up. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Wayne is a full-blown kid, and it's awesome.
Of course, we're going to have audio issues. I don't know. You moved your phone or something. What'd you do?
I don't know. Who knows?
Right. Brandon, I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Brandon, thank you. Thank you for being willing and open to do this together.
More than happy to.
I got a lot of anxiety, but I know that it's been a long time in my life. It's been a long time since I've said this. I can trust you.
Yep.
And I trust that we're going to be okay together.
Yep. There's very few people in this world I trust too, Wayne. And, I got a good vibe from you since day one. Same thing with John. I mean, awesome. We can all trust each other, and we're going to do something with this.
All right, Brennan, I'm going to close it out. I got Phillip Brown, and Phillip Brown didn't make it tonight because he's having issues with his truck. It's not that he didn't want to be here. He didn't want to half step it. He didn't have time to look into everything that he's bringing to the show. He felt that he wouldn't been prepared for tonight's show because of all the things that's going on in his trucking career. So please let Phillip know that we're okay with that. We know that.
Yep.
I mean, Brendan's had hell all week.
I love Phillip on here. I mean, he's one of the better ones. He's better than me. So, yeah.
He uses
smart.
his noggin. He
is
uses his
one
head.
smart guy.
Unlike me, Brendan, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, brother. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night. Well, there we are. I almost want to say I struggled tonight, but I didn't. It is what it is. It is what it ain't, and it is what it's going to be. But I'm going to go right here to I saw somebody in here. It's where'd it go? I saw the comment. There it is. Keith Becker. It's actually up. Wayne Campbell, there's a program out there that I used to be involved in called Trucker Buddy. It pairs a driver with a school classroom. It's a great thing. Right. I've heard of it, Keith. And that's part of the reason why I thought of this. I'm not going to stop just at the schools. I'm going to broadcast with kids. I'm going to do videos with kids. I'm going to have fun with kids in trucks. And I'm going to make sure that I get with the right people like Braden and that great group that he has. Dying breed diesel. I hope I got that right. But what I'm saying is people like him have at the tip of their finger access to over 100,000 people. And he's doing it right, and he's doing it for the right reasons. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grow this platform as big as possible with each and every one of you. Remember, guys, you are the heartbeat of America. You should be treated like the heartbeat of America. And always keep that shiny side up, that rubber side down. And to make money in the trucking industry, John, what do you got to do?
Left door closed.
Get it. Good night, everybody.